little 2 cents that nobody asked for. I am sick of seeing Black Americans in the media, on social media, in the news, doing crime, walking around next to naked, the women, the men perpetuating gang violence, substance abuse. The absolute worst of our community is oversaturating the media, even though they make up a small percentage of all of Black Americans. The decay of our morality within Black communities has been slowly declining over the past 20 years, and no one is talking about it, no one is saying anything about it or trying to address it. And if you do, you are often told that you're policing Black bodies. If you say Black women, stop getting on the internet and in the media, twerking, walking around with little clothes on. People tell you that you're policing bodies, policing Black bodies.
Let me add on to her list because I think she's going to go on. They are going to accuse you of being a white supremacist, of being whitewashed, of acting white, of being an Uncle Tom, a coon, trading in your race card, not actually being Black. There is a list for the actual accusations that you will get in the wake of giving a very valid criticism of what is happening within Black culture. And she makes an astounding point when she says the Black culture that we see on the internet, in media and entertainment is not indicative of all Black people. I cannot stress that enough. It is a very small section of our population that for some reason is getting more airtime. And you could attribute that to some sort of conspiracy against Black people, or it could be just general cultural decay that our society is so sick that it wants to see these things and that it approves of these things. And yes, it is shaking your ass on the internet and twerking, the sexy reds, the Nickis, the Cardi B's of the world. It is also the gang violence that is encouraged and perpetuated within the Black community, which again represents a small section of the population, but it is there nonetheless. And if you try to talk about it and call it out, they say, oh, well, you're not really Black, or you're a coon, or you're a traitor. And in my opinion, anybody of any color, race, creed, religion, whatever you want to call it, should be able to have this conversation, because this sort of culture not only impacts Black people, it impacts everyone. Let's keep watching.
It's respectability politics. If you are Black and you speak your piece on what we're seeing in the media, if you don't like seeing the low morality that is often portrayed about the Black community in the media, from the trap music to the Black women twerking in music videos and all over social media, the Sukihanas and the sexy reds of the world. If you are Black and you take issue with it and you talk about it, you are usually called bourgeois, sedity, uppity, it's respectability politics, you're policing Black bodies and the like. And it's like, no, I'm Black too. And as such, this being my ethnic culture as well, I have a right to have something to say about what I'm seeing going on.
Okay. And then they'll tell you you're just not Black enough. You just simply don't understand. These are the things that Black culture created, and we should sort of pedestalize these things because we do pedestalize Blackness in our society, but we've really mucked it up. To her point, I think she is exactly hitting the nail right on the head here when she's talking about it. And interestingly enough, I've spoken about these issues many times on the show. Of course, I am half white and half Black, and the Black side of my family is from Nigeria. So we're not technically, what do they call it? Foundational Blacks. I'm not descendant of slaves. So people will give me this argument of, not only are you not Black, but you're not able to talk about Black culture because you don't technically participate in Black culture. But on the other side of the coin, they will say, why are you talking about, conservative values or these ideas or challenging the racial narratives that we see in this world? You're always going to be seen as an N-word to white people, and you will see that a lot. Just search through the comments. They'll say, oh, you're acting white, but they will always see you as Black. So which one is it? Am I a participant in Black culture, or am I not a participant in Black culture? You guys let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be the first to say, I love a lot of rap music. I do draw the line at like Sexy Red and Pound Town and, the Sukihana type Blackness that is being portrayed, but I enjoy it. I just don't attribute it to Blackness. I don't listen to Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole and think that this is an accurate representation of Blackness. And that's really where we're going wrong, thinking that this is somehow representative of an entire community and an entire culture. And you know how I feel about the word community. We won't go there in this video because we'll be here for hours. We'll do that another day. Let's continue watching.
Your average Black American is a middle class, working class, blue collar Jane and Joe. The ghetto subculture, black ghetto subculture that we see often portrayed and over inundated and oversaturating the media, those black Americans make up a tiny, tiny percentage of black Americans as a whole. But somehow they're in the media, overcompensating in the media, oversaturating the media. I know I don't just speak for myself when I say that I'm sick of seeing it, that it's gross, that it is destroying what black culture actually is. It's co-opting black culture as a whole and making it seem as though all of black culture is ghetto subculture. I'm not the only black American who takes issue with it. Because like I said, majority of black America is middle class, not in the ghettos, not out here perpetuating gang violence, promiscuity, and everything else.
Okay. And even black people who live in what is considered the ghetto, most of them are normal. Most of them are not subscribing to this stuff. Most of them are not actively members of gangs, and they want to see their neighborhoods cleaned up. They want to see the culture cleaned up. But instead, we're saying that this is indicative of all black culture and community, and we must preserve these things. And anybody who's trying to fight it, even if they are black people themselves, telling you this is not okay, they are race traitors, or they hate black people, or even better, they are anti-black, which how you can be that at the same time as being black astounds me, but people will say that it is something that others are capable of.
Welcome back to Breakdown Friday. Joseph Ward, Professor Carl Tone Jones, Patrick Irvin. And we're going over a topic that we've covered, several times, but we're going over from a different angle. As you can see, the two young ladies, especially the dark-skinned young lady, her main stick in this video is the media, the white media is always showing the worst of black culture. And the other young lady, Amala Ekpung Obi, the young lady who was hosting the show, Amala Ekpung Obi, if you don't know her, she's a conservative pundit, political pundit, and she's in the same lane as Thomas Sowell. You see, she quoted Thomas Sowell, so she's in that same lane of the black conservatives who are very critical of black culture, like Candace Owens and the like. But she also explained that she is not foundationally of the black culture, but she's a stark critic of black culture in the music and everything, even though she listens to it, which is crazy to me. So I'm kind of confused as to what they're complaining about, because I thought we already knew this. I thought we already knew that the white media exposes the worst of black culture. I thought we already knew that our culture had issues. I thought we already knew that that wasn't the bulk of our culture. I guess we didn't know. So let's help me get some understanding. We're finna get some understanding and break this thing on down. So Pat, I'm gonna start with you because you got the hat on.
Well, you got a hood on,
but you got a hat.
Yeah, I'm not real sure. I get what they're saying, but I don't understand the point of them saying it because, well, let me say this. I think they're not talking to black people, while at the same time crafting a message that seems like it's targeted to black people. Because black people do, in fact, already know all of this stuff. But the audience, go ahead.
Well, who the hell are you talking to? If you're not talking to black people, and you're talking to a mainly conservative white audience, I understand you feeding them the shit that they like, but this is not the audience of people to fix it.
Well, but I think, see, this is where we get into how many of these conversations. What is the conversation designed to do? The conversation for her, I think, is designed to drive engagement but not black engagement. If black people come across it, cool, they're going to enjoy it. But it gives this idea that the white people that are listening to her channel, they feel like they're getting insider information, like their access to an internal conversation.
Yeah. Because she's black and she got dark skin.
And so it's like, look at this black girl, and she was talking to the other black people.
Confirmation stamp.
So because there wasn't a whole lot of so they said most black people are middle class. Well, how are we defining middle class? Like, middle class means so many different things. You gotta really break down what you mean when you say that. And then you have to also understand that middle class for white people and black people don't look the same. Like the average black household makes about $50,000 a year. That is not middle class for white folk. That's working class, which is like one step up from being poor, poverty. So, 75% of black households earn $75,000 a year or less. Less. You know what I'm saying? And we all know with the economy being the way it is right now, if you as a household are only making $75,000, y'all are kind of tight as a household. You can make it work, sure. But if it's two adults working, both of one person's making 30, the other person's making 40 grand a year, that works. Y'all make 70 grand as a family. Say y'all got 2 or 3 kids. Y'all are a little tight. Y'all are good, but you tight. So and when I said 50,000, I meant median, not average. So you get into these numbers of like, I think it's like 26% of the black population has any kind of college degree whatsoever.
Well, say that again.
26% of the black community has any kind of college degree. I think it's like 15 to 20%, or I think it's like 15% has a BS or a bachelor's, and then another 10% has something higher than a bachelor's. But even in that, you're looking at like 70% of the black population with no college degree whatsoever. So, and you include people that have some college, because there's a lot of black folk with some college. So when you dig into the numbers, you begin to see a picture that is not the picture that I think may have been pointed by what she was saying, which is the average black household is the normal American. Well, then we have to say, okay, well, what is the normal American? Like, what the fuck does that mean? All right, so are we talking about the average white family? Well, no, the average black person is not the average white family, because the average white family is doing significantly better than the average black family. So again, what are you talking about? But when people start saying, well, the problem with black culture is that, and then they point to rap music, well, that is why people are saying that you shouldn't speak. That is exactly why, because that's not, first off, both things are true. You are black, but that doesn't give you license to speak on the black American experience here just because you're black. That's not what that does.
Right.
You can say nigga. Yeah, you can do that, but you can't. There are certain components of being black in America that you're just not privy to. So when those components become the center of the discussion, you got to shut up. So, because let's also remember, a big part of the media that she's pointing out are Nigerians.
Yeah, the media who pushing negative black stories, the black media who pushing negative black stories.
Right. Yeah. That the white media sources for the negative, those are African black people. The Shade Room aren't they Nigerians?
Yeah, I believe so. And Essence Magazine as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. So your group as a collective are a part of the originating documenters of the stuff that the white people are now pushing forward. They don't even go into the hood to look no more. They just subscribe to the Shade Room. Look at them niggas. Yeah, let's post that. So why don't you go check your people if you want to check the media for lambasting and all this? I'm a land. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, she's also one of those who has every excuse of why she has no critique of the negatives of white culture, because and especially in this video, she's agreeing with the young lady that there's a small portion of black people, of black culture, the lewd black culture that we have. There's a small portion of black people who exhibit those behaviors, but it's pushed out. So wouldn't that be true for white culture and all other cultures? So why you don't have no critique for everybody else?
But
because you have white.
Mm-hmm.
But here's where it gets to be interesting, because by doing what you're doing, you are further highlighting it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my thing for, especially the dark skinned young lady. Like, why? What's your overall point? What's your wideness? Like, what's the end goal? Like, after you give us your rant, what next? Is that supposed to stop the media for pushing these negative stories? Because you ran it on the video, or what's next? And of course, I didn't see the whole video, so if she put action plans, she might have put action, but from what we've seen, there's no action plans. They don't put action plans, Joe. Of course, we know they don't. I'm trying to be nice, but we know they don't, because they just be venting. But nevertheless, because I got my turn coming up. But PC, man, what are your overall thoughts, man? Like, on what the young ladies are saying, the white media is exposing the worst of us, and I can critique black people because my dad is, or one of my parents is Nigerian. It's ironic because the Nigerian married a white woman. Yeah, because her last name is Ekpanobi, so I think that's the Nigerian last name. So
I didn't want to say it. I did not want to say it, but it has been said.
Jesus Christ.
So the funniest part about all this, right, is because it's like I didn't realize it, and I knew it was something. I said, because I watched the video earlier, and Pat, I told you earlier, I said it was something about this video that made me want to watch it a second time before we went on the air, and I didn't get a chance to do it. But seeing her quote "time and soul" like set the whole thing in motion for me. And when I saw that, here we go. So first of all, I'm going to address a few things. One, I think that she was trying to campaign not just the white vote, but I think she's also trying to make a play for black votes, for black people to join the white side of the force. You know what I'm saying? They always over there recruiting. Yeah. So she wanted to paint that picture. Not all black people are doing this stuff, but when the number is a lot bigger than you think when you consider the fact that we talk about this. And we talked about the fact that, overall, you can have black people from all different segments. And let me just be clear about this. This isn't just black people. We're just talking about black people right now. Because when President Obama went to South America, his Secret Service was having like one of the wildest parties of all time with some of the most degenerate behaviors you could ever speak of. You know what I'm saying? And that just speaks to like so-called this is supposed to be a certain class, military, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying. So when we talk about black people, let's be clear about something. Let's not sugarcoat a situation that needs to be addressed and adjusted. Our culture does need to be adjusted because it does not provide proliferation of people like for the future of Black America as is right now. And we can sit here and that people love to be pandered to. Well, we don't pander. So the culture needs to change. So when she says that the media is painting black people a certain way, part of the media is social media too. And black people have their own access to that. Now, what makes the algorithm is something totally different because we understand what TikTok produces in America, they do not produce in China. You know what I'm saying? In terms of focusing on STEM, going in the algorithm and focus on culturally building videos and so forth. And then you come to America and it's all the ratchet you can find. You know what I'm saying? So we understand that part. Black people, you had no friends. Dr. John Clark told y'all that. You should listen. So when I look at what some of the things she says, right? Because she's right about it being pushed. I mean, we talked about like, with the drill rap culture, how Chief Keef was given a $5 million contract after being allegedly connected to a rapper out there in Chicago, right? Right, like 2 days later, he gets a $5 million contract, which then ushers on this culture of drill rap where serial killers are deciding, hey, let's make some music and then describe the people with, you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, John, now you got to bleep out a lot of that stuff. Then, sorry, I gotta start using unalived. But then the Sexy Reds, we talked about that, how she's being promoted everywhere. She's at a country western concert last week.
And like, they keep inviting her to middle schools, like the middle schools, high schools. Penn State invited her. Like, what are you doing? But it's like, but that's what the white media is supposed to do.
Yeah, well, and then black people, you don't have a white equivalent of Sexy Red. You don't have a white equivalent to drill rap. Like, there's no culture of, like, they would destroy. They wouldn't even allow it on the radio. Like, literally, if you took the pictures, like the ops that these young brothers call themselves, and you put white faces on those ops, you start putting faces on politicians, like they used to wear, like the mask when the cats was robbing banks. Do you put those pictures on there and have them coming for them? All of a sudden, there would be outrage. You put it on certain communities, all of a sudden it wouldn't even make the channel would be taken down. So we understand what's being pushed. We understand that from all media, not just regular media, social media as well, and being encouraged. But just looking at the numbers on social media, the numbers are a lot higher. You're just looking at the fact that we have everywhere you go, no matter what class of people we're talking about, whether it's the so-called elite class of black community, somebody's going to be, if they turn a certain song on, somebody's going to bust it out and start twerking on the damn table in front of children and everybody. All right. So to say that it's just a small percentage, well, if you're silent enough, what do they say? The only thing that allows evil to persist is when the good people go silent. Mm-hmm. So too many good people are silent in this situation in regards to all the evils that are taking place in our community. So, and I'm just really speaking on it because this was just kind of a disingenuous rant from a spoiled kid who didn't really have to go through or doesn't even understand the black experience in America. First and foremost,
finger at us.
Right. Well, first and foremost, there's no contemporary black culture in America. We have had our culture destroyed. Anything that could have been a culture, every single time black people built it up, then, the nemesis of the black community has always stuck something in there to tear it apart. You know what I'm saying? So we have never had we are the only community in the world that has not had an opportunity to mature into its own gestation of whatever we wanted to manifest it in. So you can't talk about what contemporary black culture is. What you can talk about is the culture that boule chicks like yourself, because I'm pretty sure she sounds like she could have been part of that Jack and Jill society. We can talk about how the culture you want to mimic and emulate, and black folk who try to do that around America. We could talk about that culture. Then when you talk about the black middle class, I'm assuming that's who you're talking to. I'm assuming you're talking to PG County. I'm assuming you're talking to Baldwin Hills, right? I'm assuming you're talking to upper crust areas of these particular townships and cities around the country that have that element to it, but even they're struggling with it. So, and really, I take umbrage with young people who don't really like you. I'm not saying age matters if you've done the research, but it shows that she has a lack of nuance, experience, and understanding of what the black culture is when you start talking about rap music.
Man, I don't want to hear it.
So as soon as I hear somebody talk about rap music, I'm gonna listen, but I'm not listening from the standpoint of figuring I'm gonna learn. I'm listening just so I can just take in all the ignorance that's about to come after it. And so, you know what I'm saying? When we have that listen, I got a lot more, but I'm gonna just stop right here. I'm gonna land my plane right here. But like I said, man, that time and soul thing like sort of like brought it all together for me.
Look at it, man. Okay. All of the people who are black but not foundational black Americans, especially if you from African countries, like the young lady, African countries that are in shambles, that are in turmoil, that are not together, especially if those are your roots. She seen the way I'm guessing she was married. I'm guessing she was born here. I'm guess that. So that means your father left Nigeria to come over here for opportunities in a better life with these same black people that you got critique of, but you have no critique of the black people that he left. Mm-hmm. And you still have no critique for the lewd population of white America that you are also a part of, because you have white and you have Nigeria. But you never have any critique for that. But for a larger part of black people who are not foundational Black America, who always have something to say about us, our culture, or our lack of culture, all these different things, but you come from countries that are in turmoil. So y'all are so great that your countries are still doing bad.
But you know what, Joe? On top of that, right, and I'm glad you brought that up. And this is something Tariq Nasheed talks about a lot. You come in dirty Black America, but you don't have the same, you don't treat your native countries, your native culture with the same level of right. So Black America, you put on these particular ratchet ass award shows, people showing up naked, people getting into fights on stage and shit. But if you have like there's this Nigeria, for instance, some type of Nola, what they call Nollywood, Nollywood,
they over there dressing Nollywood. Like us.
Nollywood. But Nollywood is a prestigious event. If it's a Nollywood award show, it's prestigious. It's there's a level of respect that's carried out when they are on those particular platforms, when they're representing their community and their culture and so forth. There's a level of integrity and dignity that they walk and operate in, and they make sure that so you have to ask yourself, right? Because we have a lot of people who identify as Pan-African. At what point do the other members of the Pan-African community, at what point do we hold them accountable for the damage they've done to Black America?
And I'm not disagreeing with you, but just on top of that, look, I don't care how they show up to an award show if your country's still in shambles. That don't mean nothing.
But it's the image that they portray of it, and but see, Joe, what I'm saying is, and Patrick brought up earlier, they own Black media that portrays Black America a certain way.
Right.
And so if you own Black media and you only focus on Black America, and I get what you're saying, but when you focus on your native countries, when you focus on the things you do at home, and that coverage is prestigious, you know what I'm saying, almost, sort of like royally handled, it creates a cascading images. And so you got Africans who are in those situations you're talking about those Black Americans aren't kin to us. We're a kata to them because of the images that are portrayed and taught to them and double down on. So that's all I'm putting up.
But like I said, I'm not disagreeing with that, but yes, they are showing. They're making sure they show the positive images, but the same white media that y'all complaining about showing the negative images of Black Americans, they're showing the negative images of y'all in y'all country. We've been seeing it our whole life. We've been seeing the negative images of Africa through the white media our whole life, but there's no critique for the negativity on the same scale of the negativity in African cultures like it is in Black American culture. But that's enough. That's what I want to say about that. But to move on, go ahead.
Hold on, let's not move on real quick, because I think you guys just hit on something real interesting in different ways, but at the same point, which is like the punching down.
Yeah.
A lot of these, so we'll use her for example. I don't know what she's mixed with, so I'm gonna assume, and I'm putting that out there, I'm gonna assume she's mixed with white.
She said white and Nigerian. That's what she said.
Well, she might be mixed with something else too. I don't know. She looked like a Gen Z, and they just be claiming shit. So I don't know. But so you're white and Nigerian. Those are two separate groups that you could speak to. One of which has global power, white. The other which has a major cultural impact in America, Nigerian. And you choose to speak on the third group that you don't belong to. So, and this is my critique of almost all of the biracial people that are biracial and part of their makeup is white. It's not that I got a problem with it. You can have your view. Is that why aren't none of you using your whiteness to benefit the other groups? Why are y'all always punching down on the other group that you're a part of, even if you're not a part of that group because you claim that group? Oh, well, I'm black, so I'm gonna talk to the black people. I'm gonna talk for the black people. No, we don't need you to talk for us. Use your privilege. Use your biracial privilege. You're white too. Why is it that black people are forced to swallow everybody?
Right.
So you went through one bad experience, and now when they look at me, they see black. They do. And people that tell you that, they're right. They do see black. Remind them that you're white. Remind them that, hey, I'm white too. Like that would be the most powerful thing that I think a biracial person could do, regardless of what you look like, would be to stand up and say, hey, look, I'm going to stand up for my other half, the black side of me. I'm going to stand up to the white side of me on behalf of the black side of me. And I'm going to go into the white spaces on behalf of the black people. And I'm going to just transmit the messages. And I don't have nothing to say to them because they're not in a position to have any real power anyways. But I have privilege. I can be in this space because I'm of y'all. You mad about it? Be mad about it. One of y'all slipped up. I'm here now. Like, why aren't more of them being those types of allies, going into white spaces and talking to white people? And when those white people say, you're a nigga, I am, but I'm also white.
Because she reading out of that age-old black conservative playbook. We're going to do this and say the same things, do the same things that everybody else is doing as far as the mainstream black conservatives. Of course, they don't speak for all of them, but they make it seem like they do. But also, she says she has a critique for the music that she listens to and like. Make that make sense. Well, make that make sense. You like Sexy Red, but you got a critique for sex. So you support the music, you buy the music, you listen to the music. You're making sure the music is continued, but yet you got a negative critique of the music and the outcomes of it.
Didn't she say she drew the line at Sexy Red?
Yeah, she did. She said she drew the line. Sorry, I'm packaging. She said she drew the line at the Sexy Reds, and I forget the sister from Delaware that
but all the other music that it's not good for us. You can, because she said J. Cole and Kendrick, and I'm like, you clearly not a part of the culture because that's not like negative. Like,
oh well, she said I think she said she likes, but she did call it. I think I ain't gonna lie, man. I tuned a little bit of her out. Like I said, she said that rap music shit. I was kind of like, eh.
But she also was like, we're pedestalizing blackness. So I mean, now is she saying we're pedestalized that the media is pedestalizing and some black people are pedestalizing negative black culture? Or are you trying to say blackness should not be pedestalized because there's negativity attached to it? That shit don't make no sense, because what group of people don't have degenerates?
Well, I was about to say something. But Patrick, we do have one. Jesse Williams.
That's true. I forgot about Jesse Williams.
He is the one.
I forgot about Jesse Williams. He is the only one. I forgot about Jesse Williams.
The only one. He is the only one. So, but to get to that point, Joe, like I said, man, we have a group of people who, like, they read headlines. They don't read the stories. They don't read books. They might read the title, but they don't read the book. They'll know the cover from the cover to the back cover, but they never cracked the book open. So, but social media has given them all platforms to be out here and speaking like they've earned the right to actually get in front of people and instruct them. They identify as influencers. So for her to jump off the porch with, talking about rap music and talking all these different things, especially when, like I said before, you can tell she's never truly experienced. And this is the one thing I will say. This is the one time I will acknowledge the black culture is not a monolith. And the reason it's not a monolith is because, man, it's chaotic right now. It's all over the place. It's whatever anybody says it is. You ask 40 million black people, 50 million black people what black culture is, you probably get about 40 million different versions of it from the 40 million people.
She got a video on her channel talking about ghetto blacks are the problem. So are trash white people the problem for white culture?
Well,
or is that something that only affect black people are the only ones that have degenerates that negatively affect the image of black people?
Ask her to define ghetto.
But she's going to define poor. So if she defines ghetto, because that's what it seems like she's talking about, she's going to define poverty. And yeah, Joe, you're right. When you look at crime and you look at all the different statistics, and when you remove the color barrier and you just based on economic levels and so forth and economic classes, crime is flatlined across the board. Everybody does it at the same rate. But it just so happens that a larger majority of black people are either working poor or they're just they're just in poverty in America. Mm-hmm. And when you deal with the people that don't have the power to change their circumstances as constructed right now, because I do believe black people have the capability to change our circumstances if we desire to do so. Mm-hmm. A lot of black people, I think, are just worn down. It's like the fight has been beaten out of a lot of black people, so they're just trying to survive. I get that part. I'm saying
I can agree with that.
And I think a level of surrender there. I'm sorry.
No, you good. I just wanted to highlight it because I think what you just said is one of those taboo conversations that nobody wants to have, that I think needs to be had. I think it's right up there with what are the long-term implications of being in a toxic environment on our cognitive abilities. It's another one of those conversations that we need to have, but we don't want to have that conversation because of the implications of it. It's just like the conversation you just brought up. That's a terrifying conversation for black people to have.
We lost our will to fight.
And not just that, but the fact that like those that do have the will to fight have it because of this. Oh, the black community would implode if we had that conversation.
Oh, brother, you know what? I can't. The live stream is going. I see what you. Listen, man. I told y'all it's going to be crazy. I'm in the comments. I told y'all.
Is it crazy or is it true?
We don't know, but it's definitely a conversation.
Because I mean,
it's the type of put you like this. These are the type of conversations that when you really like I just said, the young sister was not nuanced in black culture. Well, these are the type of conversations you have when you are. These are the type of thresholds you have to cross, and you have to dig deep and ask, why do I want to fight, but the rest of you brothers and sisters don't? Why do I want to organize, but the rest of you brothers and sisters see me more as an enemy, and you take more vitriol on me? And I'm not using me as a euphemism. I'm just saying, you see one of us who are ready to fight, and you take more homage in tearing us down than building with us. To change this whole I know we threw the whole damn conversation off, Joe. My bad, because I know he was going somewhere with this, but but it comes back to the fact that we don't really have the reason. One of the biggest reasons that you can actually look at the stereotypes of our culture as what they are is because we have not fought to control our image. And we have so willingly given that to people who aren't Black Americans. And we have so far willingly embraced the negative stigmas. So, you know, while the sister says she doesn't embrace Sukihana and Sexy Red, there are millions of Black people who do.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, that's who you have to fight. And one thing I often said was that when I first really started in this journey, you know, some decades ago, and just taking a look at the landscape, I said, in order to get the white supremacy, you're gonna have to fight the millions to get there. And meanwhile, who's fighting with you?
Hey, this girl done pissed me off. No, I'm just saying, man, because you know, when I was watching the video, I knew most of my energy was gonna go toward her. Because I watched it several times, and I hear what the dark-skinned young lady with the glasses is saying. I hear what she's saying. She's venting with no care of solution. All right, we heard that before. But old girl over here, she trying to intellectualize because she got the answers. She got the answers for Black America. But kind of remind me of like when Tommy Lauren was like, she had solutions for Black America, but Black people ain't listening to her. Well, why would we listen to you, Tommy Lauren? You can't even keep white women safe. You know, Amala, why would we listen to you when your home country ain't straight and you haven't gotten the degenerate white people together? Why are we listening to you? Oh, I mean, you got 1.9 million subscribers on YouTube, so you're feeling yourself. So hey, people are listening to me. People are commenting. She was on Dr. Phil one time talking about, I think, either race or gender or something like that. So she's been able to kind of get some kind of national airtime as this political pundit who don't know what the hell she's talking about. But because she got almost 2 million subscribers and a lot of people are watching the videos, and she's getting the support from especially like the conservatives and the whites that support that. So she's speaking the gospel. She knows what she's talking about. In her short time being alive, she's figured this shit out. She's got Black culture down to a T, and she got the answers for us. But we just ain't listening, even though she ain't fixed shit in her life. Because we talk about on a cultural, communal scale for people. You don't know what you're talking about. Nobody knows what they're talking about because nobody came up with an effective plan to actually fix Black America. If so, show me the plan to actually help to fix Black America. Show it to me. Show me one that's been carried out that actually worked to help fix our situation, what we're going on. Nothing. So we're all out here just shooting and speculating. But at least we honest enough to say we're doing it. At least we honest enough to be like, we trying to figure this stuff out. She out here shooting it like she know what the hell she talking about. Like she's tried and true. Like this is what Black people should be doing because this is the proof. You don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that just puts her in the mix with a lot of other people on social media, and especially she has traction. You know, she's getting traction to be in that space. I mean, we did put the Independence Day project together. We worked on that. We did that.
But it's an attempt to do better and be better and to get to a better space. But it's also being honest and saying, hey, we don't really know what we're doing because there's no blueprint to this.
Well, I just want to interject real quick to correct a misstatement. Joe, she actually has fixed things in her life. She fixed her mouth to say whatever she said to piss you off. So
gotcha.
She has fixed, I'm sure she's fixed a plate. She's fixed her hair on occasion. Like, so let's not, she's fixed.
And it's just like, that's like, you know, you got all this critique for Black culture, and you're talking like you're an authority on it as well. You admit that you're an outsider. Right. You admit that you're an outsider, but also the selling points to our audience is, well, they keep telling me that I can't critique black people. Well, nobody said that you can't critique us, but we need constructive criticism from somebody who actually has some experience and know what to talk about. But guess what? Your country's still messed up.
Well, Joe, the way things are judged these days is on clout. And her clout says she has 1.8 million?
1.9, she almost 2 million.
That's worth more than $1 million.
There you go.
She's smart then. She's smart then.
I mean, nowadays, that's what it's that. Unfortunately, that's what the follow. I mean, literally, she has 1.9 million followers, and that's just on that one platform. And it's like we're analog trying to address a digital quandary. I mean, we see it for what it is. We see the BS for what it is, but in regards to how do you move this, bruh, I'll be honest with you. And we've had this conversation before. I think too much fluoride and chlorine and and lead poisoning has dulled the senses of the people, the GMO foods and things we intake, the bisphenol 9 and all the plastics we drink and touch, and the ink and all that stuff. I think that has had a major impact on the ability to create like a global MK Ultra campaign and operation in which people are just moved by which way the needle goes, and therefore people operate from a standpoint of where the influence, like they want to be, they just want to follow the trends. And if the trend says she's saying something that makes sense, everybody's jumping on board with that. The people who know better, who are putting her in that position to be this confusing harlot and so forth, they understand how they're positioning her. They understand what she's doing. They run polls to make sure what she's saying is getting out there. And they understand how the political machine works. We don't. That's why you have Negroes every 2 Novembers talking about we need to get out and vote to change the world. The lesser of two evils is better than none. We have, what I'm saying? But you see how it goes. So in regards to all this stuff, she's a pretty face that sells. So most of the people that follow, especially men, they don't give a damn about what she says. They're trying to see what she's wearing. In regards to the verbiage she's spewing, guess what? She can hit us with a diss track tomorrow and have and everybody will be, the majority of people will be validating what she said versus the things that we've discovered or we've uncovered in this discussion here. So,
she try to.
But they not like us.
Hey, baby. Hey, girl. I'm petty. Don't do that. I'm petty. Don't do that. I know I'm petty. All right, now I let it all out. But it's like, the disingenuous nature to come with such criticism with no solution. I'm not sure. End goal. I'm gonna talk you all into being better because that works.
I'm not sure that she's being disingenuous though. That just might be who she is. Like she has a lack of experience. But have you ever talked to a young person? They think they got all the answers at age 20, 21, 25. And it ain't that until they get like into the mid-30s, they realize they didn't know a damn thing. Well, she's being fed. Her ego is being fed. She's being commercialized. She's being marketed. She's being this face. And what I mean? They sprinkling that conservative black girl magic on her. So, what I'm saying? She's feeling herself right now. She honestly believes the saying. I believe that. So that part's not disingenuous. What's disingenuous is the machine that's behind her.
Well, that too, but I'm saying it because you know that you have no real intentions of making things better for us. You know that. She knows that. Yeah. She knows the I guess you could say the engine or the force or the spark behind her criticism would be to get views.
She's also she's probably also experiencing a lifetime that she could only dream of, and you know, attention, brother. Attention.
Give it up. I'm gonna punch down on black people so I can make sure I get this vacation money. I'm gonna punch down on black people so I can get more views and I can feel good about my miseducated self. Because you know I got the answer for black people because I got 1.9 million followers.
No. She's not saying she has the answers. She's just pointing out the problems. And what she's saying is there's a misconception about what the so-called answers are, even though she's never lived in any of those places and never experienced any of those things. But
hey,
you know,
what I heard. I know what you're saying. No, but I heard her talk about she got
right. I heard her say something about somebody's mama.
Yeah.
You know you don't talk about black people mama.
She don't know that. I mean, maybe she. I don't know.
Come on, like.
Forgive me, black white girl.
Yeah, you ain't you. This is not it.
The crazy part about this is that, like I said, in the Independence Day Project, in this film right here, we talked about how. We talked about I set off falling apart. We talked about how black people sell out for pennies to the dollar. You know what I'm saying? And it don't take much. And it's the bad. See, what's worse is not just her, is that she represents a large part. She represents so much of black men. We were just talking about a couple weeks ago about if black people can wash this blackness off, they would do it. You know what I mean? We were just talking about that. She represents, first of all, she really don't have a dog in this fight. The only dog I will say is if somebody passes on the street, they are going to say she's a black girl. So she don't get like the white girl privilege or the Nigerian privilege she thinks she had walking down the street. It can go down wherever she is too. But she's not invested. And
yeah,
she's not invested. Like her blood ain't here, so she's not invested in the outcomes based on the pain that we've suffered from all these years. Her lineage doesn't go back far enough for her to even understand what that looks like. You know what I'm saying? So it's really irresponsible. But it's done with purpose. It's done with purpose. And like I said before, she's really, you know, she's the pretty face that they're going to put out there to try to attract black male voters.
That's relevant.
But what I'm saying is there's a lot of shallow people who ain't really thinking. And I mean, I'm not even going to lie, man. There's a lot of brothers who are really angry with how the Democrats have been doing black men wrong these last few years. They have they're utilizing her as a strategy. A lot of these brothers are conservative. Or moderate, at least, where they might be able to push the needle, or they might be able to slide them to the right. I mean, this is a ploy. This is politics, and politics is dirty. And black people don't have no. Where's our opposition? Like this is the pushback right here, right? This is the pushback. But you know what I'm saying? Our pushback is our reach. Hopefully the reach grows. Right now, we show the reach in terms of the pushback.
Yeah, we Clarissa Shields. I did want to address one thing. All jokes aside, Clarissa, you're a great female boxer. So
you can't beat that man though.
Hey, I see Joe is just on one right now. I'm trying to get a sister some props.
What's the buddy name she's talking about she could beat?
That's irrelevant.
She can't whoop him though.
Keith Thurman. But anyways,
she can't whoop Keith Thurman.
What I was saying was, well, a lot of y'all need to understand is that when people say when they look at you, they see a black person the same as when they look at me, they're not saying that to try to get you to join the group. Usually, Usually they saying that because you're speaking as if you don't know what side of the fence they have you on. So usually you're speaking language that supports them at the expense of us. And so we're trying to tell you, if what you're saying is not in your own best interest. So why are you saying it? But then it's not a statement that says, you should usually, I'm going to say usually because people are kind of crazy. Usually it's not a statement that's made with the assumption that, you need to, why don't you come over here and be with us? Because you seem cool and we like you and we hang out well together and you should just be friends with us. Like, that's usually not what that means. So I just want to point that out because I'm hearing that a lot from a lot of these descendants of certain people that have a lot of fight in them, as PC put it earlier. And they seem to be really misunderstanding what that phrase means. And I think that in and of itself speaks to the disconnect you have with the people that you're trying to represent. Because you think us saying this means one thing and it doesn't mean that. So I can tell you, when they look at you, they see a black person too. And not be saying, you should join me and be on my side and come to my house for dinner at 6:30 and we're going to drink some Coronas afterwards and watch The Matrix. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you sound like you don't know that what you're saying hurts you too. So I just wanted to highlight that because she's like, well, either if you're saying this, then I must be black. No, that's not actually what that means.
Hey, man. You got it. Hey, young lady, you got it, though. You got it. You right. After all that, what we said, you right. You right.
Joe want to fight somebody.
It just, man, just come on, man. Like, stop with this. Stop with this superiority complex of you're such a better black person. I'm gonna call out because like I said, another one of the videos is ghetto blacks are messing up. Ghetto blacks are messing stuff up. And it's like, what? Like, if we can acknowledge that, for one, white media is the one of the main perpetuator, one of the main engines behind this, and also African media as well. So why are you talking to us instead of the media outlets that's doing that? If we can agree, if you can agree with the young lady, and everybody's in agreement that this is not the majority of black people, this is a minority of black people, but it's being highlighted by the media. And we don't control the media and the aspects of the media that black people do control, especially the mainstream ones, aren't foundational black Americans. Well, what does that mean, young lady? Who you need to be talking to?
They not like us. They not like us.
I'm just saying,
they not
man.
like us.
I'm just saying. It sounded good when she was thinking it, but when it came out, it was some bullshit. So, hey, Joseph Ward, Professor Carl Tone Jones, Patrick Irvin. I keep forgetting to do this at the beginning of the show. FetLifeStation.com and hit them like buttons. FetLifeStation.com, hit the like button. FetLifeStation.com, hit the like button. She pissed me off. That's why I ain't think about that at the beginning of the show, because I was ready to go in. It's greatly. But the FetLifeStation.com description is the link is in the description for you to go check out PC's show tonight, 6 p.m. Check them out. And hit the like button on this video. Let's run these likes up. Let's make sure we get as many views as possible, get our information out. Because unlike a lot of people, we're actually trying to get to some solutions. We understand that we don't have all the answers, and we're doing what we can as far as being activists and being active in our communities to make our communities better. So, yeah, we throwing shots. We out of here.